Major Jones, Charles Jones, Caldwell Jones. We got the Plumleys.
Ball back in the game. Nice play. Look at that. Hornets executing plays. Look at that. Misdirection, ball reversal. Look at the ball movement.
On the offensive end, it's good. They're sharing it. They have two vets down there.
Ellaby had to come and relieve some of that. Near turnover, definite turnover. Carton forced. Look ahead to LiAngelo Ball, gathers himself and knocks down the three. Time to gather himself. Line the scenes up,
Got his
Smitty.
feet set.
Oh my goodness, score the basket.
He's got 9 points in the third. LiAngelo Ball for three, and he gets to the drop. This is what you're looking for if you're Charlotte. Somebody get going, and who better than Jello?
Shown the ability.
MGM Resorts NBA Summer League, and it's Nick Richards trying to go up, but it's LiAngelo Ball. Got numbers on the break. Ball for three. No, Ball gets his own rebound. Back up with it, and one.
Bad and different.
Here we go. Ball, 0.6 seconds. Oh, he got it at the buzzer. That's what I'm talking about.
Not sure. Did the clock start? That's the question.
I'm not sure if it started, but he definitely.
Pick and roll, pull up 20-footer. Short, loose ball, and the rebound goes to Nick Richards. Booknight in transition, down the lane, on the kick. LaMelo.
LiAngelo.
Excuse me.
Great drive by Booknight. Gets down the lane, creates a problem. There's LiAngelo shooting the ball.
Young man's growing right in front of our eyes. Ball hard down the lane, high off the glass, and good. 58-51. Barnes now goes deep in the post after hitting the three. Turn around, Jay, no.
Just short.
Kai Jones the other way. Riller, cross court, Ball, rise and fire.
Why not? Why not?
Anybody who could put 3 kids in the top level of their sport, there is something amazing about that. Now, the third son I'm talking about here is LiAngelo. He's the proverbial middle child. He sits in between younger brother LaMelo, who of course was NBA Rookie of the Year, and older brother Lonzo, who just signed a big deal to be the Bulls' starting point guard. Now, after a short stint in the G League and a Pistons Summer League invite that never quite panned out, LiAngelo seems to be making the most of his opportunity this time around in Vegas, currently for the Charlotte Hornets. His debut against Portland was a wild success. 16 points in 16 minutes and shooting 5 of 8 from 3. He even hit this crazy half-court buzzer beater Thursday against the Spurs. Now, it's going to be a challenge making the roster, to be sure, but LiAngelo...
Based on his track record, I can't imagine that he did. And let me just say, I wish LaMelo Ball the best. I think he reminds me a lot of his brother, only more ambidextrous, an even better passer, which is hard to be than Lonzo Ball. Really has star potential. He really does, based on what I've seen on, like, YouTube and stuff, right? But you could see it. It jumps off at you, his court vision. He has, like, genius passing ability. As I said, ambidextrously genius stuff, right? So I get it. But Michael Jordan, the only thing that surprises me is he drafted a guy who's not from North Carolina. Like, Michael Jordan's track record in the draft is awful. Jordan, the surprising thing is Michael Jordan is the Michael Jordan of bad owners. He's the greatest athlete in the history of world sports. And he's been awful in terms of identifying talent and then cultivating it once it's on the team. Like, what's he ever done? They're perpetually bad. So I'm rooting for LaMelo Ball. I see where the potential is, although his shot, from what I've seen, looks broken like his brother's. And he's not a defender. And he is not the most explosive athlete. So that's a lot of stuff to be worried about right away. And it's probably the reason, the things I just mentioned, he didn't go first, because there's some stuff that jumps out at you. The biggest damning thing about LaMelo is that Jordan is the guy who took him as high as he did. He's been 0 for a billion, basically, as owner of the team.
For me, listen, I like the pick. I know that during COVID, obviously, you're not anticipating having fans in attendance, but let's face reality. LaMelo Ball, at least at this particular moment in time, is box office. His court vision, his basketball IQ is considered to be up there. He's 6'7", long wingspan. He anticipates things defensively. I think he needs to work on his shot. We understand that. And with Devontae Graham playing the way that he played last year, it could be something that could really, really work out for them. The question is going to be about Terry Rozier, who just arrived there last year in the sign and trade, and it was supposed to be his franchise. That's definitely not going to be the case now. It's going to be LaMelo Ball's until further notice, at least eventually. What I would say to you is this. There's nowhere to go but up. We know over the last 17, 18 years or so, the Charlotte Hornets have only made the playoffs 3 times. They've never been out of the first round. We understand what the situation is. Mitch Kupchak is now your GM, your guy making the basketball decisions. We know what his experience entails. So we'll see how that pans out. But in the end, if you're in Charlotte, you definitely needed some kind of box office attraction. And until further notice, that's exactly what LaMelo Ball is, which brings me to LaVar Ball, the Papa Ball, the father of LaMelo and Lonzo, LiAngelo, and these boys. Give credit where credit is due. He's got 2 of his sons drafted in the top 3. And who were the people who drafted them? Irvin Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. This man has taken a lot of hits over the years, but let's call it what it is. Clearly loves his kids and clearly did a great job of marketing who they are and what they potentially bring to the table, because 2 of the greatest players that have ever played the game of basketball are responsible as franchises for overseeing the draft picks of 2 of his sons, both in the top 3. Lonzo number 2, LaMelo number 3. So I definitely think you got to give LaVar Ball some chops, even though he doesn't want that one-on-one matchup he proclaimed to want against Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan will still give it to him. We'll see. But in the end, in all seriousness, I like the pick for LaMelo because they keep talking about his playmaking ability and the box office appeal that he has. I think Charlotte needs something like that, and I understood where they were coming from.
Stephen A., first and foremost, let me go back to the last segment. I owe you an apology. I'm tripping. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I don't know why I thought for a second Andrew Bogut talking about shooting. That was wrong. I meant to say more like a playmaker with setting screens and things of that sort. That's on me. Moving forward.
All right.
I will say this about LaMelo Ball. No, it happens, man. I'm on 2 hours of sleep, but it's all good. I think one of the things I like about LaMelo Ball, because I always haven't been on the train with LaMelo Ball. But one of the things I've been seeing from him is that there's something to be said about a guy being the 3rd brother, right? There's something to be said about watching the way Lonzo treated him growing up, the way LiAngelo bullied him body-wise, physicality-wise growing up. And I would say that the style in which he plays, there is no better playmaker in the draft than LaMelo Ball. Being 6'7", the things he could do with the ball, I think, are outstanding. Now, there's a lot that comes along with that, but as Stephen A. alluded to, like, you have to put fans in the seats. At this juncture, I mean, he has 600,000 more IG followers than Zion Williamson. That's not the reason you draft him, but there's a lot that comes along with the high ceiling of the potential of LaMelo Ball. And look, Terry Rozier, you talked about him. That was Devontae Graham's team last year. You felt that. You saw that. So now you add playmaking ability to that. I felt like that was the right move for Michael Jordan. I felt like that was the right move for LaMelo Ball. And granted, it's a smaller market team, but I think LaMelo Ball is going to shine. I still think he is probably the best pro prospect there was in this draft.
Hey, Max, before you chime back in here, Jay, let me give you. Hold on, Max. I'm going to give it to you. I just wanted to let Jay know, if as somebody who's very, very experienced with getting 2 hours sleep, English breakfast. Am I correct about this? I believe it's our list. Yes, it is. Let me tell you something right now.
ESPN.com.
What the hell? I mean, ESPN needs to drug test anybody that has something to do with this list. Makes no sense. Devin Booker is not LaMelo Ball before Devin Booker? Really? LaMelo Ball before Donovan Mitchell? Really? LaMelo Ball before Jason Tatum? Really? I mean, what the hell is going on? Okay? I believe
that ESPN should call security right now and go to whoever put this list together on ESPN.com. Or line them up, and test every one of them. Every one of them. Somebody's out of it. Somebody's out of it. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This don't make any sense right here. I just gave you a little. Now we can go down the list. We can go down the list with a few guys. But I'm just saying, I just gave you Ben Simmons. I understand the brother doesn't shoot the ball, but what else doesn't he do? Have you seen this man play defense? Ben Simmons is a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Ben Simmons is 6'10", can handle the rock, can pass, has a very, very high basketball IQ, can finish at the basket, is incredibly athletic, can run the show. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? So I'm just saying, top three. LaMelo Ball can play. I believe in this kid. Happy for Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets for drafting him. I believe in him. I believe this dude is going to be an all-star sooner than later, a perennial all-star. The kid's got swag. He's got game. He was my rookie of the year before he got hurt. I get all of that. But to sit up there and put him number 3, ahead of Donovan Mitchell, ahead of Devin Booker, ahead of Jason Tatum, just to name it, ahead of Ben Simmons. I mean, come on. Come on. People need to get tested. I work for ESPN, all right? I've been here for the better part of the last 17, 18 years. I have nothing to do with this list. Nothing. I disassociate myself from these people. Whoever the hell put that list together. Whoever, that has nothing to do with me. Go ahead, Max.
Put together a hell of a list. Very good list. It's an excellent list. I don't agree with it exactly. I probably also would have Devin Booker 3rd or 4th, along with Donovan Mitchell. But Stephen A., at the very top of the article, it explicitly states that this is about future value. This is about value going forward. So here's the big difference between LaMelo and, well, let's start with what LaMelo can do. He's a potential future MVP. He can do it all. Now, when you look at the list, Luka Doncic and Ben Simmons are the only passers on LaMelo's level on the entire list. Unlike, however, Ben Simmons, LaMelo can shoot it. Meaning he and Luka are kind of in a category by themselves in terms of the genius level passers who can also hit shots from the outside. But here's where LaMelo really differentiates himself, separates himself. He's like 5 years younger than the other guys we're talking about. Donovan Mitchell's 24. Devin Booker's 24. Ben Simmons is 24. I'm with you. Right now, obviously, they're better. They're 5 years older than him. His future value in the next 5 years, and by the way, these dudes weren't as good as LaMelo at 19. In fact, very few players who have ever lived have been as good as LaMelo at the age of 19. And then you ask yourself, can you build a team around him that could maybe win a championship? Does he look like that kind of player? Yup. Does he have swagger, confidence, right? Is he the kind of guy, a team will follow? Yup. Can you see him winning an MVP in the future? Yup. Check, check, check. And in terms of an offensive player, what weakness does he really even have? No, he's not 6'10" like Ben Simmons. He's 6'6". He's a genius-level passer who's 6'6", balling at the age of 19 as few ever has, and he can hit shots from the outside. No, would I have him 3? I'm with, especially Devin Booker. I don't see LaMelo putting up, show me where you can score 60 points in a game, right? Because Devin Booker can do that. Show me where you can dominate a playoff game like Donovan Mitchell.
He scored 70 in a game against Boston.
Devin Booker is like, it's indecent what he can do. But I'm just saying, he hasn't proven that yet. He hasn't shown he can dominate in the playoffs like Donovan Mitchell. So I'm with you there. I probably have him like 5th. But I could see why he's top 3 based on his age alone.
Max Kellerman, I hear where you're coming from. And originally, upon seeing the list, it's like 25 and under, okay? Their game, where you'd rank them, et cetera, et cetera. I get your point, upon reading it, where you're talking about future potential. But I still maintain my position, Max Kellerman. Because let me tell you something right now. Let's go further in the list. How do we not have Devin Booker in the top 5?
I don't know.
How do we not have any time?
He's getting better and better.
Have you heard anyone on the air rave about De'Aaron Fox more than me? De'Aaron Fox is in Sacramento. Almost no one raves about him but me because I saw him give it to Lonzo in the NCAA tournament, and I religiously bring up how that's the lone argument, legitimate argument, Magic Johnson and I have ever had, because I was like, don't draft Lonzo, draft De'Aaron Fox. That's the dude you want. I love De'Aaron Fox. He's at 6. He's ahead of Devin Booker too. I mean, come on, man. You just look at certain things and you're like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? So it's not just about LaMelo. It's several things that are questionable on this list. All right, and I'm only playing. They know I'm only playing when I'm talking about them getting drug tested and.
Good news out of Charlotte. LaMelo Ball has been cleared to resume individual basketball activity after a CT scan on his fractured right wrist showed that it has been healed. There's optimism he could return to game action in 7 to 10 days. Ball's probable return comes as the Hornets sit at the 8th seed, 10.5 games back from the Miami Heat in the 7th. LaMelo, one of the best shows in the league this season before that injury. Stephen A., will he put the Hornets back on the map?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear, Molly.
Do you think LaMelo returning will put the Hornets back on the map?
Yes. Listen, they're a 500 team now. And I got to admit, I like the young talent that they have here. And I got to give props to Gordon Hayward, who obviously departed from Boston. He's averaging about nearly 20 a game, 19.6 to be exact, on 47% shooting from the field. I give him a lot of credit where credit is due in terms of what he's been able to bring to the equation, even though he's missed about 12 games for them right now. And we all see Devontae Graham, the P.J. Washingtons of the world, Miles Bridges, a human highlight reel. But LaMelo Ball, 15.9 points, 6 assists per game, 45% shooting, 37.5% from three-point range. And the dude is just assertive. And this team believes in him. They really believe in him, and they love it. They love being on the floor with him. And I think when you watch these young dudes play with nothing to lose because they don't have much history to fall back on, I definitely think he can come back and make things very, very interesting for this team moving ahead to the end of regular season and possibly getting into the playoffs.
First, let me say this. LaMelo Ball, if he comes back from this successfully, Stephen A., plays in most of the remaining games, I still think he should be Rookie of the Year. In fact, I think coming back off that injury only adds to his case for Rookie of the Year.
I agree.
Not just because Edwards or Halliburton haven't, cemented it, but because what a thing to come back from. It's supposed to be a season-ending injury. You're clearly the best rookie. You come back and play out the remainder of the season, play your team into the play. If he does that, to me, he's Rookie of the Year. It only adds to his case. That's the first thing. The second thing is he's already an all-star caliber player. Already. And he's a 19-year-old rookie. He is a genius-level passer, and as you pointed out, he can shoot, he can do a lot of stuff, he's assertive. Is he going to put the Hornets back on the map? Not in a permanent way, and I'll tell you why. Because when you have a market like Charlotte, you have 6 years to win a championship, and then a marketable star like LaMelo is going to want, unless you've won a championship or you think you're going to win it the next season, his agent's going to call the team and let Michael Jordan know, you might as well trade us this upcoming season because otherwise we're just going to sign away. You're not going to get anything for us. Because he's going to want to play in a major market. And by the way, his game translates to a major market. Personality, game, the whole thing. And so I don't see, now look, maybe Michael Jordan, Stephen A., is willing to spend money when he thinks he has a chance to win, and he'll be able to show that, but he hasn't shown that yet. And if there's not a team around LaMelo that can win a championship in the next several years, he's not going to wind up staying there. And so he won't be put back on the map in any permanent sense. I mean, the Greek Freak just signed an extension, but when was the last time a guy at that level signed in a market like that past the original, the original extension, right? Like past 7 years. I don't see him, unless Jordan changes his ways as an owner or shows, hey, if the door is open, if I see some daylight, I actually will spend. Why would he stay there?
Max, he's a rookie. Can we deal with that 3-4 years from now? The Charlotte Hornets
what have they done in recent memory? I mean, just think about that for a second here. The fact of the matter is they haven't been in the playoffs, what is it here? Since 2015, 2016 season, they've only had 3 playoff appearances since getting to the semifinals, led by Paul Silas in 2001, 2002. And so in those 3 appearances that they made the playoffs since, they haven't been out of the first round. So when we talk about putting them back on the map, simply making the playoffs will do. And not to mention the fact that LaMelo ain't going anywhere for the foreseeable future. He's going to be there at least the next 3 years. So what's the problem?
Oh, no problem. We're talking about back on
Put
the
them
map.
on the map.
I'm saying in a
Put them on the map.
In a permanent way where he's challenging, or at least until the next 6-7 years, where he's going to be challenging